team, Zane here with a MUSE Motif video on working with choreographers. Well, let's get the basics out of the way. Be on time, be courteous, be prepared, know your stuff, what else? Be clean, you know, the basics. Number two would be try to get to know your choreographer. If you can see some of their past work, great. But once you're in the room with them, try to figure out how they like to work. Some choreographers like to just wait until they're in the room with their dancers. And if you're lucky enough to have a pre-production time where it's just dance, but they wait till they get that moment and just try to build vocabulary, a little snippet of this, a little snippet of that, so they can see what it looks like on these bodies in particular and how it will work, bringing their vision to life. You have other choreographers that are in the, just give me the finished music and I'll choreograph to that. And then sometimes they'll want to edit it later or not, but they just give me the music and we're done. So it's basically like an instrumental version of the song. Other people will want to just take a left turn and go somewhere completely else. I need a dream sequence in the middle of the song. It's supposed to get really quiet and pensive, or it's supposed to get really loud and raucous and then drop back down to something else. So kind of get to know what that's going to be and have an idea or two in your back of your head. So when they look over you and say, give me your XYZ, you got, here you go, I got one for you. And I got a second one and a third one. And just be prepared in that moment. Try to get to know who your choreographer is and how they like to work. Once you've figured out what your choreographer's preferences are, try to figure out where you fit in the midst of all of that. Some choreographers don't want you to really say anything in the very beginning. Just be in the corner, play the piano, create, notate, and memorize everything that you can. Some want you to give them suggestions. What if we do this? What if you do that? I have others that will just keep playing. When I hear something I like, I'll, stop you and we can write that down and edit it. Some will start telling you about accents and hits and modulations and groove changes in the very beginning. Some won't. It's always your place to figure out when do you give that information up. Another major component is basically stay in your lane. You are not the director, you are not the choreographer even, but know what your job is at this moment and execute your job first, second, and third. Then you can move on. I also like to control my section of the room, i.e. my band, whoever I'm working with. I want the choreographer talking to me, not the drummer. Only because I'll know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna be expected later on down the road. So you the boss, you're getting paid to be the boss? Be the boss. I think a good idea also is to know the size of the band orchestra that you're gonna have and who you're writing for. This will help you realize moments that you can create in the room. Okay, I hear this, I'll let the strings do that part. I'm gonna let the low brass do this, the high brass will do that. Or I see two different groups on stage. I can have this group represented by the woodwinds and this group represented by the brass. So if you know the size of your band and the group that you're working with, great. It's even better if you know the actual players that you're going to be working with. So you need a great guitar solo here, then cool, blah, blah, blah is going to be playing guitar in your band. He's going to knock it out the park. You can do this. Also, speaking on that, it's a good idea to know who the orchestrator is and how they like to work. Some people want you to spell out everything. Some people don't want you to spell out nothing. There's a balance, just like the choreographers. You need to know who you're working with and what they're expecting from you so you can deliver it. So yeah, know the size of your band, know who's going to be in it, if you can, but more importantly, know the breakdown of the band. So now that we're actually in the room, we're getting ready to count it off, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a good idea to know the song. Know the style of the song, know the placement of the song and the dance in the song in the show so that you know what emotion, what kind of vibe, groove, feel is supposed to take place at that moment. What is the song trying to say? And then what is the choreographer trying to do to help move the story along within that song? How does it happen and where does it happen in the show? How's what you're doing adding to that as opposed to we got to this place in the show and now everything comes to a screeching halt and we're just going to dance for 2 minutes and now we're going to pick it up. Everything should add to the story. Me personally, I like to rewrite my chart. I don't want to have a piano conductor score where I'm turning pages every 8 bars. It's just too much. If I can, I'll reduce it down to 2 systems and just chord changes. I already kind of know how the song goes. I kind of know it by heart. And this way I can just insert it back into the score later on. I also will take the piano and rearrange it in the room someplace where I can see the entire floor and see the choreographer and see/control my drummer. And the reason you want to see the entire floor is because there might be something happening downstage and something even bigger happening upstage, and you have to decide what are you going to accent focus on and help the choreographer control the audience. You know, we tell them where to look, where to laugh, smile. Bottom line is you need to know what you're writing for, so you need to see what's going on, and most importantly, see the choreographer. So when they see or want something or act a certain way or react to something, you can pick it up quickly, put it down in the chart. And while we're talking about that, it's so important to date all of your music. And if you got a real busy choreographer, you need to put a time on it, a timestamp, because tomorrow when they say, hey, remember that part where we did all of those backflips and we brought the elephant on stage? You need to be able to get to that particular moment that you guys created and do it. Sometimes lately we start videotaping everything, and that's even better because now you get to see it and hear it at the same time. But if you don't, it's your responsibility to, you know, be able to have automatic recall of everything that you did the day before or the hour before. And a last note, some choreographers can read and write music, a lot of them don't, and that really doesn't matter. That's your job. And whether they count in halftime or cut time, again, that's your job to make that realization to the orchestrator, to the rehearsal pianist, to the musical director, whoever's there. You have to create in the room, usually just on an acoustic piano, if you're lucky with a drummer, and hear the entire band happening in your head and notate that in a way so that the orchestrator can do his job. And then notate it in such a way that somebody else can play rehearsals aside from you. And that's all I got right now. Have a good one. Zane with a MUSE Motif.